The only thing of value is the thing you cannot say. The things we really want to say, we can't say in pure language. We try to express ourselves, and it comes out strangely and clumsily in brute force or in these ingenious machines we've invented. They're ways of saying things, aren't they? We sacrifice personal warmth and just general understanding of one another for this increased efficiency. And I think that is probably what is going wrong and why we always feel frustrated.
That's received.
Technology is developing in such a way as to control human beings rather than liberate them and enhance their intelligence. And I think that is in part because in the way systems designers view people, they regard the human being as an uncertainty. And good design, they believe, is about eliminating uncertainty, and hence human intelligence, human judgment, human intuition. But I think that's a reflection of much deeper forces in society. Technological change in many ways can be viewed as much as concern about extending control over people as it is about increasing productivity.
Here we go with bikinis from Richard Shops. We've been saying all week that someone might fall in the water. Well, if Dawn is wearing this, it won't really matter. I'd like to tell you that the models that you're seeing in today's shows are all very young, and this is their first series of fashion shows.
You'll notice we don't call our campaign Buy British. We call it Think British. We are asking on the Think British Council that each household divert £3 of their household budget, which is, roughly speaking, £100, to buying British goods. Because if this happened within 2 years, we would have created 350,000 jobs, which is pretty good. And the exciting thing about the Think British campaign is that we can all take part. We can all do something from the economy. It's not a question of your councillors or your politicians. It's not a question of which way you voted. It's what we can all do now.
Attention please, we have a little old boy, age 4, Thomas Rose.
And I think at the moment we have very much a society of what we have, we hold. Quite a lot of people are doing quite well. And those people who aren't doing all that well are worried about losing what they've got.
Either one can make life easier for you and save endless hours.
And I don't think there's a great deal of feeling of sympathy and charity around.
Kenwood Shed is all the help you need.
Certainly not a lot of feeling of charity or sympathy for people that you don't particularly know.
They have too few staff to cope with the increasing numbers of unemployed. In Birmingham itself, more than 2,000 people marched through the city, where all but one of the social security offices was closed.
It's a bad area, like, because I don't think there's much work around for a start. That's why they're selling all their stuff, you know, and that. And recently I've been doing a lot of estimates, you know, for the social security, because I think it's very good of them what they do for the young couples and things, you know. You know, the way they help them. That's the only way people can, like, buy stuff, you know, because they just can't afford it any other way. And it's just really desperate, the situation, you know. So that's one way of getting it, like, you know, if they will allow them it. I think he's got a twin tub in another shop.
Oh, no.
No good. Do you want to hold on till I get you a better one then? Are you in a hurry for it?
In a hurry. Desperate.
Sometimes I get an old woman in, you know, and she'll say, can you buy this thing? I don't care how much you give us for it, you know, just to buy a loaf of bread, you know? What's the right time? Or a bottle of milk.
Everything.
I get a few in like that.
All right, have a look around.
I'll have a look around when I come back, sweetheart, because I've got the payout.
I didn't think the situation was so bad. When do you think you could get one? You wouldn't believe it this day and age that it is so bad, you know. You see, I mean, we could get one today, you know, just by chance.
Could be did tomorrow, you know.
Right, Tro?
Tro.
The kind of world we've got now is a game where if one person wins, somebody else has got to lose. You have actually got to push somebody out in order to get their job, or you have to overtake somebody else in order to get on. It isn't a game where several people can win.
Demonstration organisers had said they would disrupt Mr. Reagan's visit. They didn't, and it's doubtful if the president even knew they were there. Mr. Reagan saved his comments on the wall for a speech he made later before leaving the city.
To be here is truly to stand on freedom's edge and in the shadow of a wall that has come to symbolize all that is darkest in the world today.
England's always been fairly authoritarian, really. Though quite often in the past, the authoritarianism was directed at the outside world. You could go out and govern India or whatever. And now, to some extent, those attitudes are directed inwards at England itself.
It's a sort of one-upmanship game in a way, isn't it? But it does make it easier if one has the right tactics.
Yes, people know immediately.
You go in at that level.
Yes.
The fact that I've got a staff of 10 and he's got a staff of 12,000 doesn't seem to make any difference.
The rally was the nearest British politics has yet come to an American presidential convention.
Could Labour have managed a rally like this? Well, in the old days, perhaps, but not now. For they are the party of yesterday, and tomorrow is ours.
Men. You want a man? You want a man? Oh, yeah. Yes, yeah. Would you like a free razor?
Thank you very much. I'll try it, yes.
I don't think there's any future for me. Definitely not. I've passed the 60 mark now, like. I've been drinking since I was 18. And I cannot see in the world how I could possibly change now. I've got a family, my brothers and sisters and all that, like, but I never see them. I never bother them. They live their lives, I lead mine. They're all, what do you call it, respectable people. I mean, I was brought up in a decent home. My father was a police sergeant, and I was taught the rights and wrongs of everything. Only I happened to go my way. and the rest of the family went their way, and that's it. But I don't blame anybody for it. No one at all. If anybody's to blame for anything that happens to me, it's myself. I look in the mirror every morning, I see my own biggest derby. That's myself.
President Reagan has been working with Congress to work out the details of the US starting production of nerve gas, which I think is extremely worrying. I think that the whole attitude of the West now, I feel, is becoming very worrying. It's all based on paranoia. I think. We're paranoid about what the Russians are doing, they're paranoid about it.
Not on this side this morning.
There's a certain undertone of worry, anxiety, sometimes even fear, I think, in people's lives. Either in relation to themselves, or, if not that, in relation to their children, or sometimes in relation to their environment. What's happening to the world? What's happening to the city I live in? What's going on? And often a feeling of unfriendliness.
I've been in prison about 4 times, and when my kids was going short, I just didn't allow it. I went out and stole. And I went to prison. All right, we know it's wrong. It's wrong as far as they are telling me it's wrong, but it's not wrong for me to see my kids eating, and that's as simple as that. I would do it again.
Do not fire back for the moment, unless you identify positive targets.
The Queen Mother's 83 today. They're not scheduled for pictures, but she is appearing on the balcony at some point, and there's already well-wishers there. Apparently there are already crowds there, so we'll get it.
So I thought that would make a very good page.
Could make a very good page on
We've got a nice
couldn't
story,
it?
and we'll probably get pictures.
Yes.
There's been some kidnappings in Belfast in the light of the Supergrass trial. The INLA claim they've kidnapped the stepfather and another relation of the Supergrass. That's just a claim at the moment. There's a press briefing at 11:15, John, on the electricity board. There's also international, this Chad thing, Libya making big claims, America coming in. That's becoming more tense.
Well, with some fairly strong contenders for page 1 today, I think. Quite nice to be able to give the news, or be first with the news certainly about the North Eastern Electricity Board freezing the prices, and also the prices of beer being held down. It's quite nice to have those to offset the jobless figures, which look as if they'll be pretty gloomy.
I'm sure a lot of people base their information today on what they see on television and read in the newspapers as if they were the gospel. But they're not, are they? I mean, you know better than I what can be done on television and what's said in the newspapers. I mean, they often get things the wrong way around. An awful lot of people brainwashed these days by television simply because it's a medium that you can't get too close to, can you? I mean, it's awfully difficult to dive into what the motivations are that lie behind it. How do we know the truth?
And I mean,
There's the likes of Maggie Thatcher. She can get £64,000 a year. And the likes of us have to live on £25. I don't see why on earth we should do it. I mean, I'm always the one that spoke me mind. And if I believe in a thing, I do it.
Yes, Elsie, I don't really see where Maggie Thatcher comes in as a Prime Minister, comes in compared to perhaps you and I. I mean, you would expect to pay a large sum of money for somebody who's running the country, wouldn't you, Elsie?
Oh, yes, running the country. But I mean, the women as today are just up against everything. It doesn't matter. Even I got my television licence bill in, £46. Now, how do you pay £46 out of 25?
Because you pay it weekly on stamps. You go
I
in there.
know, I do that.
Well,
But
then,
I mean, that's how I do it every week. That's
Right.
how I've done it all my life. But I mean, in the 1930s and that, you always had to scrimp and save, which I've always done. And
but
that's
Elsie, have you ever been to the cinema in your life?
Yes.
Well, you presumably don't begrudge paying going into a cinema.
No.
And you see, what, 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours of entertainment?
Yes.
And you may nowadays pay £4 for that. Well, if you switch the television on, you can have non-stop entertainment for about 12, 16 hours a day, and you're paying pennies for it.
Yes, I know. Well, that's the only enjoyment I've got.
We're looking for number 20.
There it is. A very strong signal from the offside. The signal was coming from number 20 when he was watching BBC One.
Hi there. Thanks for ringing us here in Canada. I guess you know that the Prince and Princess of Wales were over here when Prince William had his first birthday. He sure found it easy to keep in touch. After all, it only costs 50p a minute. Hi there. Thanks for ringing us.
So you're just sort of just browsing around? Yeah. Window shopping and sort of thing.
People in this country have no idea at all of the extent to which they are watched, the extent to which information about them is collected.
Did you come from home today? Can you tell me whereabouts that was?
Clement Road.
And if you think about all the forms you've had to fill in, all the people who've asked for information about yourself, right through from the health visitor when your baby is born, the teachers who are teaching your children at school, through to employers, the various government departments who are finding out about you, the police and so on, all of which can be used to make decisions about you. There isn't as yet one big computer which has everything that is known about everybody in the country, but we really aren't very far away from it. Because what has happened is that different government departments have built up these enormous stores of information, and increasingly they are handing that information over to each other. Sometimes they're doing it by one computer talking to another, sometimes they're doing it by physically handing over large files of information. Sometimes they're doing it on a purely informal basis, with one civil servant ringing up another or one police officer ringing up a civil servant. And nowhere along the line has there been any parliamentary control of this process at all.
I had an interview to join the police at Easter, and 10 minutes into the interview, the officer in charge produced a little computer slip and said, "What about this business in Glasgow then?" And I said, "What business in Glasgow?" And he said, "Well, as part of the screening, we've run your name through the police national computer, and we believe that you have a criminal record in Glasgow." And I was taken aback, and I said, "Well, I haven't been to Scotland since I was about 7. It can't be me." And he said, "Well, what's your full name?" I said, "My full name's John David Nicholas Sinclair." I said, "It's not a common name. It's not me." So he says, "You're saying it's not you?" I said, "No." And he says, "Well, what's your date of birth?" So I gave him my date of birth, and the date of birth on the commuter slip was exactly the same again. And he asked me a number of times whether it was in fact me, and I said no, although there was no way I could actually prove it, short of having a photograph or something, or fingerprints. And eventually left it alone, and we finished the interview, and a month or so later I got a rejection slip in the post saying that I hadn't got the job.
We receive in DHSS about 17 million items of correspondence that either haven't got a national insurance number or the number itself's been misquoted. The national insurance number is essential to let us get information from the main computer files. There are about 130 of these visual display terminals. This new system allows them to key in the information and receive very quickly the required numbers. We have built into the system a lot of security checks to make sure that only those people who are authorized to get information actually do so. There's about 51 million individual accounts on this index.
I was 6 months pregnant when we got married, and he liked his drink. And I had been warned not to marry him by his own mother. It wasn't often that we sat and talked, you know. I mean, even on night times when he didn't go out for a drink, he sat in one on the settee and I sat on the far side of the chair, and we hardly spoke. There's one night he came in, we had been on like a bender, and he just went berserk. He smashed the house up, put the windows out, foot through the television exploded, it's bruised right down the side of my face and everything, you know. And I just panicked and just ran out the front door. Then I realised, I thought, hey, the children, like, you know, I've left the children in the house. You know, what was going through my mind? What is he going to do to them children? Because he had said he was going to kill me, kill the children, and then kill himself. So I just went upstairs, grabbed the children, and I ran up to my friend's house. I said, there's nowhere for us to go. There's my mum and dad. I said, the pensioners. I cannot really just land myself onto them. I had 3 kids. So I was in the refuge for 6 months. It was. I got used to the refuge, you know, but I felt really safe. And they were saying, well, how are you put up with it for 12 years and all?
It's terrible in here when you get through the dark nights. Because you're frightened to go out in case anybody attacks you.
It's me, Philip. Open the door, dear.
You could walk about the streets. When I was younger, in my teens, nobody ever touched you, never saw a soul. You were quite safe. With this younger generation, they're not brought up like what we were.
Again, the second half, looking for that first goal. They haven't failed to score at home in a league match so far.
They've never seen a real live cow before.
Well, I don't think they'd been quite so close to a cow before. They'd maybe seen one on the television, but that's as close as they'd been.
It's not only animals that can provide a fright as...
Any set now that's off, it's a bit like having a death in the house. It is the entertainment media right now. It's the informer, the modern day informer. Most of us now, I suppose, don't even get time to read a newspaper. I don't as an individual. I depend on seeing the news on an evening when I get home.
I'm fine, but then I always am. It's only just that we had this little bit of trouble. And bearing in mind I didn't know I'd got it last Saturday, and all is well today. That's not bad going, is it? No, just a little bit of soreness, inevitable if you've had an operation. But I had a marvellous surgeon, and we found this miraculous little hospital, which
Can
is
you
lovely.
see clearly this morning?
I can see clearly this morning. I can see everything that's wrong with you.
With the advent of video, we hire films, and it's unbelievable. The films that we put out during the week, so people are obviously looking to be entertained electronically.
You have to cut down on your reading for a while.
Yes, this eye is perfectly all right. One just has to be careful with that eye.
Mrs. Thatcher will spend the rest of the weekend at Chequers, and she's still planning to go ahead with her holiday in Switzerland.
Going on holiday next week as planned.
Yellow 3 and 9, 39. Blue 5 and 1, 51. Red 1 and 2, number 12. Blue 5 and 9, 59. Blue 4, 9, 49. Red 5 side, lucky 7. Red down and street, number 10. Blue all the 5s, 55. House is called, don't want to be marking.
4 corners, 4, 18, 62,
76. House correct, put them in the now, please. White 7, 6, 76. Blue 5 and 7, 57.
What's your ham?
On,
not up yet. Oh, well, I have one of your steak and kidney pudding.
Mark on change.
It's in a garden, please.
First number. Blue 6
in the
1,
mixed
60.
vegetable.
Blue 5 and 6, 56. Blue 5 and 3, 53.
Oh, those old people will be chucked on the scrap heap, love, like they are now. Do you know, indirectly, I wasn't told to my face, but the people that were with me when I came out of the hospital, the last time I went for an exam, the lady, Mrs. Fields, that was with me, Professor Wilson called her in. And he turned around and told her, he says, whatever you do, look after Mrs. Coates, because he says, she'll be lucky if she sees Christmas Day. But I'm still here. I've beaten them. But that's as much as they've cared about me since then. They won't even have me up in the hospital now to see how I'm getting on, whether I'm alive or dead. I'm stuck here day after day, week after week. As far as they're concerned, I'm not here. If it wasn't for my own doctor, I don't know who the dickens I'd be. If I were a doctor against the world and everything I seem to want, he gets for me. As regards the hospital, they just don't care. They've never bothered to be about me since last November when I went up for my last exam. And all I got told is, you don't need to come back no more, we can't do no more for you. And that was after their handiwork, not my own. But I'm having to live with it and suffer for it. There you are. So that's what they care about you. Which is nothing. Clever boy.
What you're asking of that machine is to work in as complex a way as your mind works. All those things which have all built up to form the ideas in your mind. You know, your childhood, all those things. A computer presumably has no childhood, no memories of any kind that it calls upon. And yet we rely on it as though it's a godlike figure, you know. It's the way we've come to rely on it as an answer. And if we rely on it as an answer, it is tantamount to accepting it as a way of life. And once you've done that, you are in its control. And I don't particularly want to be at its beck and call. So gradually they will phase out the people so much more. And the thing does become out of control. It becomes a helter-skelter of more efficiency. And there will be all these people standing on the sidelines watching. So maybe that's another thing we could do, is make a world just for machines. Make a zone in the middle of Europe somewhere. Anyone that wants to go in there and be a machine-minded person, you know, or operate life through the machine can do that, while the rest of the world lives at peace outside without machinery.
United Kingdom has now become this theme park for nostalgia. We're better at producing costume drama about the recent past, the Falklands episodes, Part 44 revisited, as well as the classic grand nostalgia trips. And that enters not just TV, but pubs and marketing and even recent rock and roll. And I'm horrified to find that the generation of the young at the moment are already recycling the past until it seems like we live in a vast supermarket of kind of previously quickly lived in styles. And that's terrifying about the present, because we don't possess the present. We're permanently snuffling around like baffled bloodhounds looking for the really authentic bit of our past. And yet in front of our nose, the present is being taken away from us, and we're kind of just buying it as packages, whether it's politics or news or rock and roll. Purchasing it from an increasingly sophisticated technology. And what we're also purchasing is just a bowdlerised version of our own past, with none of the interesting bits left in, I notice.
Beneath the moon, under the sun. Excuse me, it's locked this way down. Sorry.
Is that side door not open?
No, that's closed. You'd have to just go around the corner. Okay? Thank you.
Actually, I'm not very optimistic about things generally, except the idiosyncratic nature of man. When you least expect a response, and the response you get, the least expected kind of response, is the one that will avoid the biggest catastrophe. You know, it's just the strangest thing. Even collectively, people will just arrest themselves at the edge, as though they sense by instinct destruction is imminent and cannot make that final mistake.
South of the border, down Mexico way, that's where I fell in love when the stars above came out to play. For it was fiesta, and we were so gay. South of the border, down Mexico way. She was a picture in old Spanish lace. Just for a tender while I kissed a smile upon her face. It was fiesta, second time. We were so gay, south of the border.
I predict that within the future there will be further war, but in no way involved with the wars that's now here. That there will be greater powers involved, but it will come to a good end. That there will be more jobs, and England will come back to the great power that it used to be. That there will be nuclear war, but it will not be on the earth. It will be above the earth.
There were at one stage this year nearly 100 American military advisors in the country. With Honduras, the strategic crossroads of Central America, it's increasingly asked, who decides for that country?